So, what if you did everything you were ever told would make you happy? You checked all the boxes: the money, the success, the recognition, only to find out you were still feeling totally, completely empty. Well, today we're diving into this incredible documentary that follows one man's journey from that exact spot, from the very top of the material world to a deep, profound inner discovery, a search for a kind of truth that, well, money just can't buy. And this quote right here, it just nails the whole problem. The narrator, he followed the script perfectly. I mean, he sold a company for millions. He even starred in his own Super Bowl ad. By any definition, he was the American dream. But, deep down, he had this nagging feeling that something fundamental was missing. And that led him to a pretty scary realization. The only place left to look for real answers was inside his own head. So this brings us to the core issue he was trying to unpack, something the film calls the deceptive dream. And it's this paradox that I think a lot of us can feel in our own lives, right? It's that clash between what the world tells us should make us happy and the reality of how we actually feel. Yeah, look at this. On one side, you've got the checklist society hands us for a successful life. But on the other side, you've got the reality he was living in and seeing everywhere: addiction, depression, chaos. He actually goes so far as to call our normal society psychotic. That's a pretty heavy statement. And this all led him to a really powerful conclusion. He brings up Albert Einstein, who famously said, "You can't solve a problem with the same level of thinking that created it." So following that logic, if we really want to fix all these huge external problems in the world, we've got to start by changing our internal world first. We have to change our consciousness. Now, you'd think a quest this huge would start with some kind of massive crisis, right? Some rock bottom moment. But nope. Incredibly, this whole epic journey kicked off with just simple curiosity. It was sparked by a single ancient question he stumbled upon while reading. This was it. This was the question that lit the fuse. He's just casually reading the Bible, and he gets to the part about manna from heaven, this, mysterious food that God supposedly gave the Israelites in the desert. But the text never actually explains what it was, and that one little mystery sent him spiraling down the most incredible rabbit hole. So, what's a guy to do? Well, he gets on the phone with Deepak Chopra, of all people, and the conversation they have is just, whoa, it's mind-blowing. They start exploring this super radical theory. What if these ancient sacred texts are actually filled with references to psychedelic plants? Could manna from heaven have been psychedelic mushrooms? Was the wine Jesus made actually some kind of psychoactive tea? It's a lens that changes how you see the very foundation of our entire culture. Okay, so before just jumping on a plane to go meet a shaman in the jungle, he decides to start with something a little more accessible. Before he was going to travel the world, he realized he first had to travel into his own mind. And his first port of call is transcendental meditation, or TM. Now, the key thing about TM is just how simple it is. It's not a religion, there's no dogma to believe in, it's just a technique, a tool. It's designed to help quiet down that nonstop chatter in your head so you can tap into these deeper, quieter, more universal parts of your own awareness. And this leads to the whole model behind meditation. See, we usually think, I am my body, I am my brain, but this model suggests something different. It suggests our brain is more like an antenna or a radio receiver. It's not creating the signal, it's just tuning into this vast universal field of consciousness that connects absolutely everything. Meditation, then, is really just the practice of fine-tuning that dial. All right, so after all the intellectual deep dives and the meditation, it was time to go all in. It was time for direct, first-hand experience. And this is really the climax of the story, where the whole thing shifts from a search for knowledge to this deeply personal, physical, and spiritual journey down to Peru. 10 to 20 years. Just let that sink in for a minute. What does that number even mean? Well, this is a claim that's made by several experts in the documentary, and honestly, it is a bold one. It's about how much progress you can make in a shockingly short amount of time. Here it is. The claim is that a couple of sessions with plant medicines, specifically ayahuasca in the story, can give you the same kind of breakthroughs as 10 to 20 years of traditional talk therapy. I mean, that is an absolutely staggering idea when you think about the potential for healing. And this was the narrator's own big breakthrough during one of the ceremonies. He says he literally experienced his own death, but instead of it being terrifying, it was liberating. He saw the universe as this perfect, cosmic joke, and in that instant, his fear of dying just vanished. Poof, gone. And he wasn't the only one having these profound experiences. Another person on the trip described it as having their urban armor totally stripped away. You know, all those defenses and walls we build up just to get through the day? For them, all of that just melted away, connecting them to what they felt was a loving, higher power and a sense of peace they had never known. But man, maybe the most powerful story of all is about Jerry, the narrator's friend. Jerry was completely trapped in a death spiral of addiction. His life was falling apart. He goes down to Costa Rica, and his transformation is just total. And listen to this description. It's like pure poetry. He has this vision where the moon literally reaches down, takes out his heart, washes it clean, and gives him a new one. He woke up the next morning a completely changed man. So, after these absolutely life-shattering experiences, what's next? I mean, how do you even begin to integrate something like that back into your normal life? And how does it fundamentally change your understanding of what reality even is? This gets us to a really paradigm-shifting theory that kind of ties it all together. The old idea is that our brain creates consciousness. It's a generator. But this new idea flips that on its head. It says the brain doesn't create consciousness at all. It's more like a filter or a reducing valve. Its main job is to block out most of infinite realities so we can just function day to day without being totally overwhelmed. And that right there is the ultimate takeaway. These experiences, whether through psychedelics or deep meditation, they don't add hallucinations to your reality. They just temporarily open up that filter. And when they do, the illusion that we are all separate beings just dissolves. The direct experience is one of pure unity, a deep knowing that we are all connected. And what's so amazing is how this deeply personal journey actually manifested in the real world. Jerry, remember him, the friend who got a new heart from the moon? He was so transformed that he actually opened Rhythmia, a licensed medical and healing center in Costa Rica. It's a real place with a mission to create a safe, legal space for other people to have these same kinds of life-changing experiences. And all of this brings us to the documentary's final big idea. A journey that began with one man's personal internal crisis ended up becoming this global mission with some seriously real-world implications. So the final provocative question the film leaves us with isn't just about personal healing anymore. It suggests that if enough of us change our inner world, if we change our consciousness, our collective reality, the outer world, might have no choice but to change along with it. What would a world built on that foundation even look like? It's a powerful thought to end on.